I've just been loving, especially since COVID hit, the really existential ads. The ads where it's like, you're born, you live, you laugh, and there's like a baby, then a toddler, then she's going to school, and then she's getting married. And it's like, you love, you forgive, you forget. Then there's like an old man crying, holding a baby.
Yeah.
KFC's 12-piece feed, the new Zinger Burger combo. It's like trying to take existential just life. Like there's a lot of ads now that the post modern ads that are just like life, hey? Life's hard, isn't it? Tragedy, suffering, living, dying, forgetting, and cheeseburgers or whatever.
Yeah, it's a they're like strangely moving. Like
They're
they're like
trying
a
to,
Terrence Malick film. You know the
yeah.
Terrence Malick film where it just shows like it's a slow showing of a life as it evolves.
Who's Terrace Malick? Terrence
He did
Malick.
like Tree of Life.
Right.
He's that really reclusive director that comes out with these like staggering works of genius
Right.
every 20 years. But it's that same, it's almost like these ads are using his type of weird like sense of profoundness that he,
Well, like
you
I
know,
think with ads they got the clue that emotion and product is good. So it used to be sex, right? That was the big thing. Like sex and like being cool and being accepted and all that stuff. But now it's like if they can get you feeling like the deepest feeling, which is like, why are we here? Basically, why do we all die? And then like Vodafone,
yeah, it's for
it's
5G.
it's such an evolution from the old like rugs a million ads that are like, please, we've got I bought too many rugs. Please help. Please help me. I don't want to get rid of them to now. Like if you come and I'll give you a bunch of them for $5.
I'm getting liquid. Remember, he'd be like, the creditors are coming. They're going to liquidate. I've been threatened with prison time. So if you could just please come in and take a rug, please. Like it's just literal begging. It's just weird to use begging and patheticness as your, like, that's a huge leap, isn't it? At least with ads to go from like pathetic, like, please, mate, I don't know how to order rugs.
Yeah, he was pretty close to like having an ad where it's just him crying in the mirror. He's unshaven, he's sort of disheveled. There's a sex worker lying in bed in the background, and his place is a mess. And he's like, please, it just says please, rugs a million sale. Like it's just pathetic. Like he's just cap in hand style of ad.
Like Taxi Driver or whatever. Like
Yeah,
he's got a mohawk. He's like, please buy rugs.
yeah,
Like he's
yeah,
got a hammer and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, it's weird because that would be existential again.
Right.
Like it'd be full circle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There'd be a pathos to that. Like
True.
I've come on a journey.
Yeah, it would be funny to see the Rugs a Million guy go like, life, eh? What is it about? I mean, is there a God? I mean, we're just here and I don't know. I've got friends and family. Yeah, I love them. Yeah, I love them. But I don't know anymore.
Is it just about having too many rugs that you need to get rid of
Maybe you just need to
immediately?
get a Persian rug. I don't know. Have a think about it. Give me a call. Have a think
Yeah,
about it.
it'd be great if they rebranded as that weird Tree of Life thing with rugs and milk. Like they tried to.
Yeah, that would be good. I would love that. I would actually love that. Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like, I guess the deeper they can go, the better, right?
Mm.
But I think that's the realization.
You mean like with how specific they get in the things they conjure?
Well, I feel like ads started with no emotion, like even pre-Rugs a Million desperate cap in hand ad. Before that, I felt like when the advertising first started, it was very just much information. Like you need a car, buy a Ford car. It's a car. Ford cars,
Yeah.
they drive around and they've got wheels. Yes, a new feature.
It's all about the product.
Yeah.
But now they might not mention the product at all.
Yeah, sometimes you see an ad and you're like, oh, this is a
What is
short
this?
film about like marriage and some, and
Are they
life and
showing
death.
Tropfest? Are they playing Tropfest shorts?
It's a
Oh no.
foreign short film that's been nominated for an award at Cannes Film Festival. Oh no, it's an
Yeah.
ad for insurance. My bad.
Oh, this must be the latest winner of the Palme d'Or.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's an ad for
It's
a wart cream.
oh no, it's a toilet duck ad.
Like it just gets more absurd. Like
Yeah,
this this won the Tribeca Film Prize, but no,
this won
yeah,
the
it is.
Tribeca Film Prize, but it's for getting your car tuned at Auto Tune.
It's for JB Hi-Fi. I thought it was a Tropfest winner.
Yeah.
It's almost like now they say to the advertising executive, "Don't mention the product, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Like just do it." They only do it at the very end, I think, with the logo now.
I saw
Like
an
they
ad
might not
campaign
even.
recently that just said "Look up," and it just had clouds. It was like a photograph, like it's on the side of a bus. And I happen to know the person who works for the ad company, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's about um, advertising or something, like a corporation that does ads." And there was just
Wow.
no way of knowing at all what it was about. It just said "Look up." I thought it was an ad for like getting people off their phones, like a government thing or something. Like look up from your phone.
That's
Genuinely.
hilarious. Like a government, like sunscreen, slip, slop, slap.
Yeah. But
Like it's
like
the
look
same
up.
public health safety. Like
Yeah.
look up
Well,
because you're walking in.
government ads are the funniest
Yeah.
because they can be like, it's insane how violent they can be. Like, have you
Oh,
seen not speeding ads
mm.
where it's like someone, literally a body lying bloody through a windscreen and someone screaming, "Mom, Mom, no." And then it's
Like
like,
you're like, is this Wolf Creek?
yeah, it looks like
It's,
Wolf Creek. They're
yeah,
allowed to
yeah, and
do it
then
because it's the government. And it's like, don't
right.
fucking drive fast. Okay? You'll
Yeah,
die.
yeah.
And everyone you love will die.
They're the only ads that are allowed to roast the viewer. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they can have a go at you. They can go, put down the cigarette, you fucking loser. You're gonna fucking. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't do that if you're Telstra or whatever, or Coke. Like
Yeah.
Coke can't be like, you piece of shit. Have a Coke, you dickhead.
Yeah. You're not
Don't be a
cool.
bloody dickhead.
Hey, dickhead, you're not cool. Nobody loves you. Nobody even likes you. Get a Coke
Yeah.
with your name on it, you fucking loser.
What are you doing drinking water, you dipstick? Have a Coke, dipshit.
Have a Coke,
Like-
fuckhead.
The government ads are like, you're a fucking worm. You're wanted for crimes. Like it is really quite aggressive. You're like, fucking hell. I'm
Yeah.
just having dinner. I'm having
Yeah.
dinner and this ad's making me feel lower than a snake's belly
Mm.
directly.
Yeah, they have a license, really, don't they?
Yeah, but
I like the idea of like premium products using like the Rugs a Million tactic. I like that idea. Like Rolex
Gucci?
going like, "Hey, get in here. We've got 1 million fucking Rolexes. They're handcrafted by Wogs in Italy. They're the most beautiful pieces of watches you can buy. They're timeless. They're worth thousands of dollars. We sell a handful a year. Get in here and get one while you can. Fuck, please. Please buy a Rolex, please." And it's got like, because they get like, "This is Johnny Depp." Johnny Depp does Rolex ads.
Yeah.
"This is Chris Hemsworth. Come," and he's like, "Please, mate, please. I'm Thor. Fucking even Thor needs to know the time. Just buy a watch, please." Rolex are not going out of
They
business.
come out and beg.
Rolex are
I'm
not going out of business. They are actually doing very well. They sponsor the tennis. Just fucking get in here while you can. There's watches here. There's watches. Wogs making watches. Imagine if they change it to that. There's always like the goofy Wogs making watches. Get in there.
Folks are making watches in Italy. Come and get them.
Come get them.
Please.
Giuseppe.
We're not going out of business. You got to get one. We're fine.
Hi, we're Ferrari. We make cars. that we only make a handful a year and they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. You get in here, get one now, get one for your mate, get one for your family. Ferrari, fucking get in there now, get Ferrari.
Just like unnecessary desperation for a
Yeah.
product that like has super prestige and is based on being like aloof almost.
Yeah.
For them to be desperate.
It's got the CEO of Ferrari going, please, buy this, please. We have too many please are going now. Hello, it's Mr. Ferrari from Ferrari Corporation. We've got Ferraris here for sale. Get rid of them now.
Oh, yeah. National Ferraris going by the book. We got a lot of Ferraris. Come and get them now. Like just really tacky. Ferraris, boom, boom.
You can
get a
picture
Ferrari.
that. You can picture that. You know, there's like, Brian. Like a kind of, you know, there's jingles. Like, Wogs making cars. Ferrari, Wogs making cars. Like they try to put a goofy, catchy, like, Wogs making cars.
It's Italian. And they have a weird character. It's like, it's Italian. like a little guy with a moustache. Comes out of a circular
like
logo.
Domio. It comes out of a circle.
It'd be this weird world where it's like an ad executive like reached out to Ferrari and was like, we can make your product tacky. We can make it really tacky if you want.
Yeah.
That might be good.
And then like
no real reason.
Really tacky shit has really, really classy ads. Like, you know, you wake up and it's a day. It's another day. But it's a day for work. Time to get things done. Because you care and you're a professional and you're on time. McDonald's cheeseburger meal deal. Get a free Coke and a toy. You know those ads that are like a sleek executive or whatever, like, you know, going to work, checking his watch, and then he's like just has a Happy Meal at the very end, and then like a woman brings in a report or whatever. Some executive, some dude sits down with him and looks over some fucking share portfolio.
It's an actor that would have auditioned to play Don Draper, but is still doing like prestige ads in the meantime.
Yeah.
But just having him, with like a Monster Energy drink at the that he pops open like in the boardroom.
Yeah, pours it into a champagne flute.
Monster Energy drink. That'd be a great combo.
I love it. I did a gig in my hometown of Toowoomba on the weekend, and it's the first gig I've done in there in years. And I've been doing stand-up for 16 years now, and it was the first time I really came back to my hometown. And my parents, my dad came, family friends came, my auntie came, who's a hardcore Christian, and Toowoomba is statistically the most conservative place in Australia, voting wise and historically and so on. And I performed in the Big Empire Theatre there, and it was a surreal moment because it's like the first time I come back to my hometown with like what I think is my comedic voice, so to speak, for lack of a better way of putting it. And it was just quite Freudian to me, the set I chose, because I did like this stuff about how Nike hide slave labor behind political correct ads and diversity in their ads, and how I did a joke about a disabled pedophile, my disabled pedophile joke. Then I did stuff about my dad and how he runs through life leaving a wake of mentally ill children behind him, and how I smoked pot when I was young and the family hose was really short because I smoked too much pot. And then I talk about being on antidepressants and stuff and how I couldn't come when I was on antidepressants. It was just really crazy, truthful, like really blue set. And it was kind of strange because afterwards, my dad just wasn't that impressed, and it all went well. Yeah. But it was this weird moment of kind of coming back to hometown and going, oh yeah, this is the young fella, Will Power's brother, the comedian. He does comedy, and we know the family, the Power family, and let's see what he's like. cum jokes and disabled pedophiles and antidepressants, and dad made me mental. I smoked too much pot.
They thought you were going to come back like Robin Williams and be like, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
clowns.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
do the equivalent of the motocross thing, like, of the motorsport
Well, that's it.
thing where it's
like Will comes back and Will came back and my brother Will, who's a racing car driver, came back and opened the Toowoomba airport.
wow.
Like by racing a plane in a car. It's just fascinating, isn't it? Because some people would say that the set I did was a really good set, and that's the reason why I did it, is because a well-known comedian, asked me to do it before he got up. I was supporting him, but it's just funny that you can be good at something artistically, but there's just no way of gauging it as good or bad. Does that make sense?
You can't measure it with like a metric. Like you can't even get a number that says that's a 6.5
exactly
out of 10 because
exactly.
the number of criteria is too large.
Well, when you win in racing, you either win or you don't. But in art, it's subjective. Like if motor racing was art, you wouldn't be the guy who won. They'd be like, oh, maybe the guy who didn't race won because he was making a statement on climate change, trying to do something different by not even racing. Or there'd be a dude sitting like he's in a car, but there'd be no car, and people would walk around with red wine and cheese and comment on it, like what they think it means. Like, oh, maybe I think we're meant to be the car.
Yeah.
That's what it'd be like.
And then those racing car drivers wouldn't be able to pop the champagne like they do because they'd never know when they had won or not.
Yeah.
So you could never celebrate.
You can never celebrate.
Which is a curse.
It is, yeah. It's a
curse if you can never celebrate.
That's right, yeah.
I don't think I've ever felt a moment where I should celebrate. Genuinely. Do you know what I mean? Like I've never been like, it's champagne time.
Yeah.
Have you? Like where it's like, now is the time to pop the champagne.
It just seems so, whenever it is champagne time, there's just so many more things to be done. Like there's, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you got this deal or got on TV or did this, pop the champagne. But also when you do, do the show, it might go badly. People might hate it. You have to do the writing of it or whatever the thing is,
There's no time when you get the thing and it's finished at the same time. Like it's all out of sync.
Right.
Like you might get an opportunity, but then you've got to do it. And then by the time it's done, you hate it.
Right.
So
exactly.
at every point there, you could pop the champagne, but like you don't want to pop it when you find out that you've got to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of like getting selected for the team and then popping the champagne on the selection before the game.
And then being hungover and
then failing. When you finish the game, you don't know. Some people thought you won. Some people thought you lost. Some people think you didn't even play. Some people think you're the last game you did was better.
Yeah.
Do you have too vague? Have you had many situations where people have come to your shows, family and friends, and been utterly disappointed?
Yeah, I've had. That's why the Brisbane Comedy Festival, because it got cancelled this year. But like the day before, like all these people that I kind of vaguely, from your history, like reach out to say they're coming, and that just ruined it.
Terrifying.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, I can't wait to come back. People will come, and people are going to come, and you're coming back to the home turf, and you're just going to enjoy coming back. But then, of course, you forget that people are going to come.
And that's even going to.
That's the worst, because it's like Utopia and hell are right next to each other. Because the Utopia is just being in Brisbane doing these shows to people. But then the dystopia is going, oh, fuck. That's a guy I used to have a bartending job with 10 years ago.
That's the guy who bullied me in high school. Now he's watching me bomb.
Yeah, now he's watching me bomb. And I remember one show, a bunch of friends came, and but they'd planned a dinner afterwards, like after the watching me,
Right,
that I was
right.
going to
A
go to as well.
celebratory, a celebratory dinner.
A celebratory dinner to celebrate the gig.
Right,
And it was a gig with me and 4 other people. And they all did really well. And I choked because I kept looking at the friends and like
right.
noticing their laughs and stuff.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? I'd be like,
yeah.
fuck, that's and then afterwards we went to this really fancy restaurant. like really crazy fancy, like Wagyu, kind of
Right.
like almost like, and magnums of champagne were being brought
Yeah,
out and
yeah.
stuff. And like I'd bomb, so I couldn't enjoy it. Once when you bomb in like a really nice theater, it's impossible to enjoy life until the next day.
Yeah, it's like being embarrassed in paradise or something.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like being
sitting in an infinity pool and everything's beautiful and there's a sunset and you're like, this on paper is perfect, but then but then you look down, you're not wearing pants, and everyone around the poolside, all the beautiful women and the guys with 6-packs all point and laugh at you.
yeah, it's exactly, but you've still got a cocktail.
Yeah, you've got a cocktail, you're in an infinity pool, you know?
It's like ordering a margarita that's real tasty and then just finding out you've been cancelled and you've still got to finish the margarita. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like someone's like, hey man, you just got and then you're just sipping this really with the tropical umbrella on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is not going to taste good today.
So what did the gig come up in conversation at the expensive, extravagant dinner?
Yeah. Well, it creates a problem for them, I guess, but they just only talked about how well the other acts did.
Right. Perfect.
And they would fixate on a couple of them as being like ones to watch.
Oh God. What a fucking nightmare.
And
Yeah,
so
I've
then
had that
you've
before.
got
I've had that
you've
before.
got to talk about them as well, the other acts, but you just can't find it in you to you're just so lackluster. You're like, yeah. I guess it's an interesting persona. Like you're trying.
The worst one I get is when my brother's motorsport family friends come to my comedy. Like motorsport people come to my comedy sometimes. A slither of the population go, oh yeah, I know his brother through motorsport. I'll go to his comedy. And I'm just really
Just statistically, that's
yeah,
going to
well,
happen.
there's some in particular that are actually family friends that were in racing, and they come along and you bomb, and then they want to have dinner with you afterwards. And it's like, it's just not the kind of comedy for motorsport fans. A lot of it.
And you don't want to break bread with them after a disgrace.
No, that's right. I mean, not all people, young people that might be into motorsport and might be into stand up might like my show, but I'm talking about older generation people that like help my brother race and then come to my show and be like, why is he screaming about antidepressants and capitalism? And it's like, this isn't funny. I mean, a lot of people think that it's not funny anyway, but
Yeah, I mean that combination is pretty funny. But yeah, it's weird as well because where do they want to go? What restaurants do they want to go to after that?
yeah, it's going to be nice. You know what I mean?
They want
like
to go to a nice restaurant.
Yeah, and then you just sit there and just. It's very difficult to do stuff post gig unless the gig's gone incredibly well and you're happy with it.
That's why I never plan a dinner after. Always leave it open.
Which jeopardy? Because if you have a good gig, it's great.
But you'd never have the dinner booked to celebrate it. So it's a catch-22, you know, like you can't.
Yeah.
Because if you think ahead and book the restaurant, you're going to bomb.
Right.
Like if you booked a Michelin-starred restaurant to celebrate like tonight and then did a gig, you would bomb for sure because you'd be thinking about the meal.
Right, the celebration.
On stage, you'd be like, I've got to do well enough to enjoy the Wagyu kind of thing. So it'd make you bomb because you'd want it too much.
Right.
Which is
what's the worst case you've had from someone coming to see you and then like afterwards like them dogging you?
Worst
Not dogging
is,
you, but you know. commenting or not commenting.
This friend came and she took I did the Comedy Store and she took a photo of the sign.
Mm.
You know where it's got your name or whatever?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then put it on Instagram. And then I bombed so badly that afterwards it was no longer on Instagram. Like she removed it from Instagram.
She deleted the fact that she'd even gone to see you.
Yeah.
She wanted no record of how bad it was. So in case anyone else knew somehow that she was there and knew you, she had to delete any possible connection or evidence that she ever went.
Yeah, it was like it left such a bad taste in her mouth that she just didn't even want it to even like, she didn't want the big other to know that she was there, you know?
So you mean like she didn't want God to know that she'd even gone, like her own sort of sense of what's right and wrong. And
I think it was a sense of a consistent reality.
Right.
It just works better if you cut that event out and never talk about it again.
So it was a bad bomb.
It was a bad bomb. Once again, precipitated by the fact that I knew they were there. So what happens is I just obsess over where they're located and I keep looking at them and like listening for their, do you know what I mean?
Oh, I hate that.
It's a weird hypervigilance to their enjoyment.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's
I want to
worst.
micromanage their time.
Yeah.
What I really want to do is stop the gig and show a slideshow presentation of me doing well at another gig.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's so fickle. Like you could have the best gig in the world and kind of, you know, think you're on top of the world, but then someone comes to see you and you bomb and they're like, well, he's not a very good comedian. Like, because that's all they've seen of you.
Yeah. Yeah, you get the, as they call it, like the bipolarity, like entrepreneurs have bipolar because they take risks. So it goes badly, it goes well. Like your mood's just all over the place because you can't really guarantee it.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's always.
And in fact, if you have a really good one, I find the next ones can be bad because you become complacent.
Or you're comparing it in your mind on stage.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what? This isn't going as well. Kind of thing.
Right. Whereas if you have a really bad one, often the next one's good, I find.
Yeah, I reckon it's all quite psychological in your head because you're comparing, I think. Like if it goes okay, the next one, you're like, this is great, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.